Are you planning to do some updates to your home before you put it on the market for sale? In this video, I'm going to reveal some of the most popular home fix-ups that are a total waste of time and money and could end up costing you tens of thousands or maybe even hundreds of thousands of dollars. If you're wondering if the improvements that you've planned for your home actually make sense and will make you money when you sell, then you definitely want to watch this video. One of the most common questions that I get from sellers is, what can I do to my house? How can I fix it up for sale so that I'll get more money beyond the cost of whatever I spend getting it ready for market? That's a really important question because I know that a lot of sellers spend money on things that will not get them more money, that will only end up costing them money at the end of the sale. So in this video, I'm going to show you first those things which I know end up costing sellers a ton of money with no positive return. And then I'm going to show you those things which I know actually are really smart to do before you put your home up for sale on the open market. First of all, we need to talk about the kitchen. A lot of people think they can remodel their kitchen and make money when they go to sell their homes. And that is not the case for most kitchens. There are some kitchens that are really old and out of date, and they are in neighborhoods where a lot of people have spent money upgrading their kitchens. And so the kitchen that currently exists is way below the neighborhood standard. So I'm going to tell you that if your kitchen is maybe 50 years out of date compared to what is typical in the neighborhood, then that maybe is an opportunity for an improvement. But if your kitchen is only like 15, 20, 25 years old, certainly there is no money to be made in giving yourself a major kitchen overhaul before you put your home up for sale on the market. That is almost for sure a recipe for losing tens of thousands of dollars when you go to sell your home. And speaking of the kitchen, a lot of people look to replace appliances in their home as a way to boost their resale value. A lot of people go overboard when they're replacing the appliances. First of all, if the appliances are in good working order and they are not totally beyond the end of life, then there is no money to be made in replacing the appliances. And if you do, make sure that you replace them with appropriate appliances. Don't put a Wolf range in next to a GE Econoline dishwasher. It just makes no sense. Also, do not go and renovate your whole entire bathroom unless your bathroom is really functionally obsolete or just totally substandard. If your bathroom is really disgusting, like if there's leaks, if the subfloor is rotted out, that kind of thing, then definitely you could consider doing a complete bathroom renovation. But if your bathroom is in relatively good condition and it's less than like 50 years old or 40 years old, if it's relatively functional, I would not put any serious money into getting your bathroom. Just clean it, just do the basic things and make it presentable, because a large scale bathroom renovation, generally speaking, for most people, not going to pay off, a complete and total waste of money. Next on the list is hardscaping. A lot of people think, well, gee, should I put in those new pavers? Should I repave my driveway? Should I put a patio in the backyard? And the answer to that in almost all cases is no, you should not. I see it time and again where people spend $10, $20, or $30,000 on hardscaping improvements, and generally speaking, that also does not pay off. Buyers just don't ascribe that much value to hardscaping beyond the cost of the improvement. And if it's not going to make you more money than it costs, I say not a good investment of your time or effort. And here's a big waste of money is smart home features. You know, it starts out with like a smart thermostat, and then you have Ring video doorbells, and you have smart lights and smart dimmers and electronic blinds that come down. And all of these things are really nice to have if you are living in the house already. But the thing is that technology goes quickly out of date, and buyers know that, and they might not like the tech stack that you are loading into the house. They might have their own ideas of the kind of smart hardware they would want in their house. Generally speaking, this is also a money-losing investment, and you're not going to recover the cost of it when you go to sell your house. And here's something that comes up fairly frequently is siding replacement. Some people think, gee, I really should replace the siding on my house. Yeah, you hear it. Like I live in a high fire hazard area, for example, and I have wood siding, and I know that stucco siding is considered to be much less of a fire risk, and it is, but unfortunately, replacing your wood siding with stucco siding, for example, that's going to cost you a whole ton of money, tens of thousands of dollars that you are never going to see when you go to sell your house. So I do not advise that you do any major expensive work like replacing your siding prior to putting your home up for sale. You know what they say, everything comes around again. And you know what's coming back again is luxury designer wallpaper. I can tell you that if you are putting your home up for sale, do not spend any money on wallpaper whatsoever. Listen, the wallpaper out there today, I think it is more attractive than the wallpaper of yesteryear, but it is such a highly personal choice. You are not going to be able to recover the cost of that new wallpaper, because for every one buyer that you attract with your wallpaper, you're probably going to turn off like 2 or 3 because most buyers are going to say, this is work I have to undo. I'm going to have to take that wallpaper down. So just save yourself the time and the money and do not mess with luxury designer wallpaper. And here's another one is designer luxury light fixtures. Listen, lighting is really, really important. And there are a lot of amazing lighting options out there these days. And some of these lighting options can cost thousands or even in cases tens of thousands of dollars. And you are not advised to spend that kind of money on luxury lighting fixtures because these kind of fixtures, they're more like art, and art is like a highly personal choice. I don't advise that you try to guess what the buyer of your house is going to love in the way of lighting fixtures. I'm not opposed to replacing old, outdated, junky, rusty lighting fixtures. I'm not saying that, but replace them with common sense, practical, affordable lighting fixtures that go with the style of your home that don't cost a whole ton of money. Another big thing I see people wasting money on is converting of these bonus spaces. So like attics and basements and garages, a lot of people think they can repurpose these rooms and make them into an unpermitted bedroom or some kind of studio or workout room or something like that, a media room. In most cases, this kind of work does not actually end up making you any money. It actually ends up costing you money because buyers will not have the same vision for these spaces as you do. Frankly, in a lot of cases, a lot of buyers are just going to want to use these spaces for what they were designed for putting cars in or storing boxes, that kind of stuff. So if you have one of these bonus spaces, my advice is just to clean it up and make it presentable, but don't spend money trying to convert it into some bonus space that you think is going to add value because it's probably not going to. Another thing that I see people doing is they think they can add value by like adding like a detached bonus structure of some kind, like maybe an office or an art studio or something like that. These generally actually do not add value to your home. A lot of people spend $5, $10, $15, $20,000 or more adding these structures in, and in most cases, buyers are just not going to see the same value in that structure as you do. So if you're looking to boost the resale value of your home, adding these kind of structures is not the way to go about it. All right, well, if all of those things are a waste of time and money because you end up netting less on the sale of your house than it costs you to do the work, the next question is what can you do to actually make a positive return on any investment you put into your home prior to putting it on the market? Hey, before I go any further, would you do me a favor? Would you mash that subscribe button right there and subscribe to my YouTube channel? And don't forget, click that little bell to make sure that you get a notification every time I put up a brand new fun, fact-filled video, kind of like this one. Well, I have some really good news. There are a number of things you can do, and they are generally speaking the quickest, cheapest, easiest things that return a big profit when you go to sell your home. These are the things that I call the low-hanging fruit. Just pick them up and grab them, and you will make a lot more money when you go to sell your house quickly, easily, and cost-effectively. So number one is boost curb appeal. It is super important how your house looks from the street. You want to make sure that the first image that people have of your home is one that really attracts them to the property. You want your property to look clean and well maintained and inviting to anybody who is looking at it either on a screen or from the passenger seat of a car, or even when they get to the front of your house and they're waiting to come inside. You want the whole entire front scene of your house to be as attractive and as inviting as possible. Don't leave the impression that your house has any kind of deferred maintenance or that it needs work. The second thing on the list of low-hanging fruit is decluttering. Look, this is super important. You know, the average American house has somewhere around 300,000 separate items in it. Yeah, that's a lot of stuff. So if you want to get your house ready for market cost effectively, declutter. Look, if you're going to end up moving, you're going to end up decluttering anyway. So get a jump on all that now. Get that stuff packed away so that when people are in your house feels clean and open and fresh with a lot of clean sight lines throughout the property. You don't want people looking at your stuff. You want them looking at your house. You want them looking at the space. So decluttering, it is time consuming, but does not cost really hardly anything at all. And it makes a big impact on how people feel about your home and how much they're willing to pay for it. Now, the third big thing you can do to really boost the resale price of your home is improve the natural light that comes into your home. Earlier, I spoke about improving the curb appeal. So part of that is landscaping. So do you have trees or bushes which are blocking the front of your house and are blocking the windows of your house, which impede the amount of light that comes in? Well, how about the side yards as well? How about the backyards? Do you have have any kind of awnings which are blocking light coming into your house? Also, do you have window screens? A lot of people have dirty, torn, old window screens that do nothing except block light coming into your house, so remove those. How about window coverings? Do you have old, ratty blinds or shades or curtains that are blocking the light coming into your house? If so, remove those as well, and no need to replace them. Just leave your windows bare, because that will allow the maximum amount of natural light to enter your home, and that is one thing that buyers absolutely love. And if they don't see enough natural light, they're not going to want to proceed with an offer on your home, and the number of offers is what really drives how much money you're going to be able to sell your home ultimately in the end. So make sure that you have as much natural light coming into your home as you possibly can. All right, the fourth thing that really pays a positive return on investment is cleaning. Make sure you give your home a deep clean. You can do it yourself or you can hire it out, but make sure especially that your kitchens and your bathrooms are spotless. And my advice also, make sure that your floors everywhere are clean, shiny, vacuumed, and swept at all times that you have a buyer in the house. Next one, and this is huge on my list, is make sure that your garage is empty. A lot of people, when they go to sell their homes, they put all their junk in the garage, and then when people come to the garage, they can't really get a sense for how big the garage is or how useful it could be. Listen, here in the Bay Area, garage space is very valuable. Everybody sees it as the place where they're going to make their billion-dollar dream come true, right? Like Hewlett-Packard, Apple, Google, all of these companies started literally in garages, and that is what people here look to the garage for. They look at it as a valuable space which they can use for myriad purposes, not just storing a car or storing boxes, but home office, gym, classroom, man cave, she shed, media room. If your garage is full of stuff, people are not going to let their imaginations run wild with the place. They're not going to ascribe as much value to a garage that is full of stuff as a garage that is empty and looks big and inviting, begging them to come up with creative things they can do for the space. So please, please leave your garage empty when you put your home on the market. The next big thing on the list is to clear out your backyard. You know, in the Bay Area, a lot of backyards aren't that big to begin with. And so when your backyard is full of overgrown landscaping like bushes and trees and hedges and garden beds sprouting weeds, get rid of all of that. Also, a lot of times backyards will have like ornamental fixtures that have gone into like disrepair, like fountains or like those decorative wishing wells or those little water features that don't hold water anymore. If you have that stuff, my advice is to get rid of that. Buyers look at all of that as work they'll have to do. They look at it as taking up space, and it makes your backyard look small and cluttered. So that kind of work does not cost very much at all. You can do all of it or most of it yourself very cheaply, quickly, and inexpensively. So if you ask me, you want to make sure that your backyard looks as open and as inviting and as usable as possible to potential buyers. So get rid of all of that stuff, taking up space, very valuable space in your backyard. All right, the next big thing, which is often overlooked, is how your home smells. I can't tell you how many times I brought a buyer to a house and we open the door and they take a whiff and they say, there's no point even coming inside because I'm not going to live in this house. Listen, one of the most common things that people object to is the smell of cigarettes or tobacco. If they smell that, most people today, they're not going to buy the house, but there are many other smells like mold or mildew or cats or cat pee or dogs or heavy cooking smells. These kinds of things really turn buyers off. And here's another one, Febreze. When people smell these heavy chemical fragrances, what do they think? They think, what is the seller hiding? You really want to make sure that your home smells clean and fresh and inviting. It does not give the buyer any reason to take a pass on your property. All right, the next thing on the list are those little small fixes that you think maybe probably aren't really worth doing, or they would only take a minute, so you put them off to the last second. Listen, these things really can make a big impression on the buyers when they're in your house, like those missing electrical outlet covers or the light switch plate covers. A lot of times these are missing and it just makes your home look uncared for and cheap and not well maintained. So if you have any of those, make sure you put those on because they only cost like $1 a piece. Next are small holes in walls. You'll see this commonly behind a door where like the doorknob punched a hole in the drywall. My goodness, please take care of all of those holes in the walls. Buyers don't like them and they just make your house look abused and not well loved. So that's a really quick and easy fix as well. Also, if there are any dangling or uncapped wires, like maybe you like removed a light fixture, put the light fixture back. If there's like a junction box without like a cover, put that cover on there. And here's another big one is burned out light bulbs. So it's very common to find light fixtures that have burned out light bulbs, but it makes buyers wonder, like, is it the light fixture or is it the bulb? So by all means, if you have any lights that don't turn on, make sure that they do turn on. And if you have a bunch of lights in a room, make sure that all the lights are the same kind of color. So it's very common you have daylight whites, you have soft white, you have these yellow whites. Make sure that you are using the same family of colors with every bulb in the room to give it a very cohesive and even lighting effect when buyers are in the property. And here's another quick and easy fix. Make sure that all of your doors open and close very smoothly. This happens a lot, especially in older houses where maybe the house has settled a little bit and the doors drag and so they're hard to open or close. Or maybe the key does not really quite go into the lock very easily and it could benefit from some WD-40 so that it's really easy to turn that key in the lock. Make sure that all of your doors open and close smoothly and easily so that buyers don't get the sense that there's anything amiss with the maintenance on your house. All right, and the last one on the list is if you have any wood trim in your house or wood cabinets or wood floors, make sure you give those a good shine. Get some Murphy's wood soap oil, or there are other cleaning products or shining products for wood, and just give the wood a quick once over. This is really inexpensive. It costs a lot less than actually refinishing your floors, but in many cases will give a very similar result. And here's a pro tip: if you do have wood cabinets or that wood trim, do not paint over it. Just shine that wood up and make it look its best. Buyers hate painted over wood cabinets. They just think that it looks tacky because it does. Believe it or not, that's all I have for this video, and I hope you did enjoy watching it and that you got some value out of it. And if you did, I'm guessing, just a guess, that you might also enjoy some of these videos over here. These are some of the most popular videos here on my YouTube channel, so please do take a look. All right, thank you so very much for watching, and please stay tuned.